greatest military commanders, like Julius Caesar, Alexander the Great, and Genghis Khan, and used it to create a genetically engineered leader called Serpentor. Everyone was on board with the plan, including Destro and the Baroness and all of them. And the moment Serpentor awoke, he became the leader of the Cobra. Wow, humiliating stuff for Cobra Commander. Imagine literally building the organization from the ground up and then being replaced. Ouch, that must have hurt. What I liked the most is that despite his anger and humiliation, he never actually abandoned Cobra. He even saved Serpentor's life. I guess somewhere in his mysterious backstory, he also learned the value of loyalty. Cobra Annual 2012, the origin of Cobra Commander. Okay guys, you gotta get ready for this one because it's about to blow your minds. Cobra Annual 2012 shows us a glimpse of what happens after the Cobra Civil War has ended. Turns out we're getting a whole new ruthless commander with one hell of a backstory. It was in the middle of nowhere in some country without a name, over the borders of Myanmar, Thailand, Laos, and China. It was the land of opium with poppy fields covering every inch, and there was constant warfare, a civil war of sorts, a war on drugs. But life still went on. Amidst all the explosions and death, a son was born right there on the battlefield, and he had the eyes of a tiger. Mother and son ended up displaced as tribes fought one another, but they managed to start a simple new life in another tribe. All was well until one day his mother was attacked by a few men. Tiger Eyes, a child born out of war, a child who has seen guns and grenades from his very first breath, did the one thing he knew best. He killed those bastards. But his mother ended up as a casualty. That day onwards, he was no longer a boy. He was a soldier and an orphan. Eventually, he started working for the drug cartels, but was truly only loyal to himself. He became ruthless with his gun. He could shoot helicopters from the sky by killing their pilots. That's how precise he was, and all the people looked up to him. But that wasn't the end of his escapades. He even briefly entered into service for the Thai Air Force to assassinate a man. And as the general paid him for a job well done, he killed the man and took all the money for himself. Tiger Eyes knew that he'd have to take everything by force. You get only what you take. As the years passed, he did pretty much any and all jobs from line drops, collection, and receiving deliveries to being a hitman. Eventually, he ran into Major Blood. Yep, that one. And he was actually quite impressed with the young man, even giving him the name Crake, which is a snake from Australia because he's just that rapid. Tiger Eyes, or Crake, is then seen in Thailand trying to find out more about the people who ambushed him and took over the opium trade. You know, the Cobra. And boy, did they not like being asked questions about, you know, how they like operating from the shadows and whatnot. So they barged into his house, beat the crap out of him, and instead of killing him, the Baroness asked him to join them. Crake, ever the loner, did not react well and tried to fight it, only to lose and soon become unconscious. Soon he was on the run with his face and identity exposed, and a whole lot of people wanting to kill him. I mean, I'm sure in this business you make more enemies than you can remember, but Crake somehow manages to find Major Blood and strikes a deal with him. A new face for him doing their dirty job. He was about to take on the Triads, which is basically a criminal society even older than the Cobra. And let me tell you guys, he was meant to be the Cobra Commander. When he finally got his new face, the first thing he did was eliminate the surgeons who did the procedure. No evidence left behind. This guy was merciless and ruthless and had no problem with killing innocents. And finally, we saw him in the Cobra armor, joining the ranks of Destro and Baroness. The good news is, guys, that this is just the beginning. There's still a long journey ahead before he becomes the new Cobra Commander. So stick along, because he might be the best we've seen yet. Cobra Commander origin in G.I. Joe, The Rise of Cobra 2009 movie. How many of you guys remember the crazy revelation of Joseph Gordon-Levitt playing Cobra Commander in the live-action film? Now, I will say I think the criticism is harsh. He wasn't given a whole lot to work with and was still one of the better parts of the film. As for his origins, before becoming Cobra Commander, this version of the character was actually a good guy. Crazy, right? Well, he was sort of a good guy. Throughout most of the film, he's referred to as the Doctor, but his real name is actually Rexford G. Rex Lewis. And he was a brilliant young scientist working with the US military alongside Duke, who at the time was both his mentor and friend. Oh, and Rex Lewis was also Anna's brother. You know, Anna, Duke's ex-fiancée Anna, the Anna who eventually becomes the Baroness. Yep, they're all connected. So, at the beginning of the story, Rex isn't a villain at all. He's basically the idealistic science guy working for the military. But everything changes during a mission in East Africa. You see, Rex and Duke were investigating a secret weapons facility when things suddenly went very, very wrong. The airstrike was called too early and the whole place was destroyed. Duke managed to escape, but they all presumed Rex to have died in the explosion. But Rex had survived, although severely disfigured, because of which he had to use the special breathing mask. And he always blamed Duke for not saving him, for not going after his friend. He blamed Duke for his circumstances.